Good morning to each and every one of you. This is Dominic Olivo again with another one of your YouTube video vlogs here. And you might notice a bit difference around my apartment. You might notice that there have been a few changes. Those of you that are watching this channel, you notice that I don't have the couch here. Behind me you see that I have a road bike. Some things are being moved around in the apartment, so I apologize for the drastic changes. But on today's video, this is kind of sort of like a reflections video, and I am going to ask that you do bear with me as I do my best to try to get to the bottom of the story. But this is a reflections video, and something in my mind and my heart told me to do this video today. So if you don't have the tolerance and the patience for this type of video, I'm going to kindly ask that you scroll away or turn away or go to another video. But this is pretty personal. So once again, this video is pretty personal, and I'm going to do my best to not be around the bush and just keep the video pretty brief and short, but I'm not going to make any promises. And doing most of these videos, you notice a lot of times that everything is not scripted. I like to improvise and make my own videos. I don't write anything down. It's just a habit that I have. Excuse me, I'm a little raspy here, but being expressive in my own way and sometimes doing these videos, I don't write anything, so anything is not scripted, so I just wanted to put that disclaimer. But I digress, and going on, this is a video about a very special person in my life. She's not a family relative, she's more close to me like a friend relative, and I'm going to be spending most of this time in the duration of this video talking about her, excuse me. So I know it's been some time since I've been active lately on YouTube. I know the last video that you saw was of me doing karaoke, and I'm going to do my best to try to keep up to speed with this YouTube channel, but I digress, going off tangent, and this is a pretty personal video. To my friends that are coming across this page, you know exactly who I'm referring to. So again, I'm going to tell this brief story. There once was a lady who was a very special lady. I consider her to be one of my close friends. I met her years ago. It started one day. I went to high school here. Those of you that know me, I live in the small town of Kingston, New York. It's a small town / city in upstate New York. It's like 90 miles away from the city, and I've been living here for over 18 years. And I came across this one woman. You see, I was active for a while. I've done many things. As I've said in my previous video vlogs, you see me do a lot of different things. I went to church, I sang in the choir, I joined a young men's ensemble. You see me go to college, you see me do all these videos of karaoke and all these different programs and events. And part of that stemmed from this woman who I had a close relationship with. I would consider her mostly my second grandmother, a person who's very special. She's someone that I always seem to lean on her shoulder, and you know, it was something special about her. I don't know how to describe it, but it started years ago. This was in high school. So at the beginning of my sophomore year, I was friends with my brother's friends. And we got together, we went to church, we volunteered on Friday nights at the community center, watching after little kids. I was, of course, a staff and an intern. I volunteered my time, and I met her. And she was very spiritual. She went to church. She was very God-oriented, and it was something special about her. But I think it's also important to note that this woman, in particular, saw full potential in all of us young people, including myself, my friends, my brother's friends, my sisters, and all of those in the Kingston community. Those that know this woman, she saw full potential in each and every one of us. And I can't describe this feeling, but it's like she has the spirit about her. You know, she treated each and every one of us, because being we were young at the time, we were only in middle school and high school. I was about maybe 15 or 16 years old when I met this woman, and we get together, especially on our birthdays. Our first birthday gathering we had together, we had a spaghetti dinner, and it was pretty nice. And we got together every Friday nights. We volunteered, we played games, we ate food, we watched after kids. At the end of the nights, we made sure that their parents come get their kids, and it was just a fun program. You know, the community center, it's called the Rewards for Excellence. And in this particular program is specifically designed for young people between the ages of 9 and 15. Those of us that are pursuing our academic studies and furthering our education and pretty much having extracurricular activities. So this is sort of like an after-school program. And I've gotten to know this woman for a couple of years. Like I said, we've done things together. We had a pizza party. It was something special about her, but she saw full potential in each and every one of us. And she treated us like her own kids. You know, she has her own children, and she wasn't originally born in the state of New York. She didn't come to Kingston. She was mainly raised in the Carolinas. She was born in South Carolina, but she came to New York State, particularly in upstate New York around the 2000s, and she's done many things around the community. You know, she's looked after kids, even kids that are not of her own. She's also held programs for students, especially those that are going into college. You know, she's done many different things, and, you know, I commemorate her. You know, I consider her very special because she's... This woman was also in charge of the basketball programs in town. Now, for those of you that watch this video, if you scroll through my videos, in one of the video blogs that I made previously, many years ago, I want to say it was maybe 7 years ago, the basketball programs, I was a scorekeeper, of course. Though I didn't have too much knowledge about basketball, I was asked to be a volunteer, and I was a scorekeeper for the young kids division. We had 3 age divisions. We had the 8 to 10-year-olds, we had the 11 and 14, and then we had the 15 and 18-year-old age divisions. There were 3 age division basketball groups. This was every year around the summertime. The basketball programs run from July through the end of August, and she helped foresight that. She funded the program, so she's known for doing those things. Not just running programs, but just her overall aurora, or her presence, something about her, you know, this spirituality. She was an active member in the church. She did many different things. You know, she was a minister, all these extra things, and, you know, she was very special. You know, she was a very compassionate woman. She always loved her kids. She loved all the kids around the community. She didn't just love her own kids, but she treated us like family. And I just wanted to share that. Now, this basketball program was the Kingston Hoops Summer Sizzle Tournament. You might recognize the name. Kingston Hoops Summer Sizzle Tournament. It was run by this woman. We had another co-person who ran the program, and we run these programs for the past, I want to say, maybe about 10, 11 years. The program began in 2005, and it's been going on ever since then. And every single summer, since 2008, when I graduated high school, I helped volunteer for this program, and I was a major contributor. I helped scorekeep the young kids division, but I also helped scorekeep the teenagers that were playing in the Roundout basketball courts, where I currently live right now in the Roundout housing facility. But these programs were run every year from July to mid-August, and I've helped do these programs for the past 2 or 3 years until recently, back in 2017, when they decided to no longer have the programs. Now, I'll go in a little bit as to why the program shut down, but I digress, and going back to what I said before, this woman saw full potential in each and every one of us. We all have our unique skills and talents. There was something special about each and every one of us. We wanted to do many different things. I myself wanted to do different things, but I can recall the times that, you know, when we did get together for Sunday worship services. I was an active member of the church at the time, and I bring this up a lot in most of my videos, that I was an active member of the Young Men's Ensemble. I sang with 3 other different people who were young kids, us young men, between the ages of 13 and 15. And she admired the boys' choir when we get together to sing songs for worship, you know, singing Christian songs, but not just singing Christian songs, but different songs of different genre of music. You know, we were these kids, and she admired each and every one of us, of our unique talents, and, you know, she loved each and every one of us. But I'll go off, digress for a moment, and I'll say this. I won't get too emotional, but again, this is just telling the story from personal experience. Like I said, I can't speak for everybody else. This is just from my personal experience and based on what I've known about this woman. Her name was Reverend Sandra Hopgood, the late Reverend Sandra Hopgood. Very sweet woman, very special. She loved each and every one of us. And something in my heart and my mind and my spirit told me to make this video because a couple of years ago, back in 2017, now 2017 was a hard hit year for each and every one of us, especially me personally. She lost her life, sadly, around this time. Tomorrow actually marks 4 years since we lost her. And I got a phone call one day, and it really hit hard. You know, the passing of her, it really hit hard in my spirit because I've had a relationship with her. You know, I've had a very close relationship with her, specifically her family members, and we did a lot of things together. I recall many birthdays together, you know, at least 3 or 4 to count. You know, going to Mount Fuji, the Japanese restaurant, you know, getting together at the buffets, yearly, you know, having birthday gatherings, you know, something special about her. We did things. I always went to her and asked her for advice. You know, I recall visiting her at her home, you know, getting out of college and just having a few conversations with her before she went back down. She was living in Kingston for a while, and then around 2015, I think was the last time I saw her. It was about maybe 5 or 6 years ago was the last time that I got to see her. I helped volunteer, you know, I helped around the house too. I recall coming in every summer to mowing her lawn and picking out her grass, you know, just, you know, getting a few extra dollars and things like that just to help around. But, you know, we shared things together and we had a close relationship, and as I said many times, she didn't just treat me like her own, but she treated each and every one of us. And again, one of the things that I feel as if we lack today is compassion. You know, I think that's one of the things that we seem to be missing even now, especially in these unprecedented times. You know, compassion, being an empath, and just loving one another. And I think that's what's missing. And I think it's important to note that since the last time I went down to South Carolina to her funeral, a lot has changed in the past 4 years. I don't feel like I'm the same person now. A lot has changed about me personally. I don't feel myself as active as I once was. I don't feel like the same person. You know, a lot has changed. During the mid-duration of 2017 and the years going, I started to notice changes within people, especially within myself. And for a while I was active. I was going to church. I was doing all these extra things, and then I hit a hard spot. You know, not to make this a personal story about me, but part of why you haven't really been seeing any materials or any videos from me lately, and why I've been spending most of this downtime kind of reflecting on myself, is the fact that, you know, since people pass on and people move on, you know, it's like my circle has changed. You know, you get to a certain phase in your life. There's a saying that after you get a certain age, your circle of friends becomes smaller. You know, the people that you once know as friends, the circle becomes smaller over the years. And I just noticed a change of people's attitudes. Now, this is where things are going to get pretty personal, and I have to think about this. And I don't want to attack anybody. This is just my personal feelings. So please bear with me. I don't want anyone to feel any type of way, but this is just how I felt at the time. You know, at a certain point, you know, losing my father that same year, I felt as if I was becoming a doormat for certain people. You know, the people that I once looked to as friends, or the people that I associated with, I started to notice the change in people's character, and it became more of me giving and outpouring energy, and the energy not being reciprocated in return. I felt as if at that time, you know, when I was going to church and volunteering in the community, I felt like I was giving more, and I'm not even looking after myself. I'm not even looking after the immediate circle. You know, I think as one of the things is that being an empath, like myself, I think I try so hard to look after everybody and not making any time for myself and those that I love. And that's part of the reasons why I stopped being active for a while. I stopped being active in the community. I stopped going to church every single Sunday to once every other Sunday and attending morning worship services. But then it's also gotten to a point where everything was becoming based on tradition, and this was the first time that I decided to do things out of tradition. You know, I still have my Bible, so my feelings and my emotions and my perception has changed. You know, I started to see things from a different approach, but ultimately, I wanted to exercise my independence. So, I don't know where this is going, and you know, it seems like I'm digressing, but I wanted to exercise my independence and, you know, do things my own way. You know, I'm not a troublemaker, I don't cause any chaos or anything like that, but the ability to make my own decisions and to be responsible and to save money and to look after those that I care about and to be able to do fun things. You know, one of the reasons why, you know, if you've noticed, over the past couple of years, you see me do all these church videos. You know, I go to worship services, I sing in the church, but I recently stopped doing all of those things to kind of focus on some downtime and to really focus on what matters, living my life to the fullest as best as I can, you know, saving money to go on trips and to spend time with people that I care about, and not just the people that I look after who claim to be friends. Well, really, they're not necessarily friends, but they're more like acquaintances. Those of us that live in the Ulster County area in Kingston, New York, those of us that knew the late Reverend Hopgood, I felt like she was the foundation. She was that mold that kept everything together. And I think that that foundation has crumbled. And I've noticed that over time, over the past couple of years, over the past 4 years, people have been doing their own things. People move on to bigger and different things. You know, we move on. That's just naturally how it is. Our social circle changes. We naturally move on and we meet some new people. And I think that's what's happening. You know, I acknowledge and I see those that I know in the community, but it's like I have very little word for them. You know, we exchange a few conversations here and there, but things just doesn't feel the same anymore. You know, through her, we did a lot of different things. I've done different things, you know. That's what got me doing things like this, doing the videograph, recording videos off my phone or digital camera, or helping behind the camera, and even singing and doing music, and being with my brothers and my friends and doing all these covers and things of that nature. Part of it was through her, and ever since she passed on, you know, a lot has changed. You know, I was doing those things for a little while, but then it got to a point where the whole idea of assessing your circle and the people that you surround yourself with and noticing your company, that's where that whole idea comes from. And I've had a few years to think about that, and I can never come with a reason why I haven't been really active in doing things. You know, I've just been caught up in my own cycle, working my regular shifts at the grocery store, to coming home to relaxing on the couch and watching some television, you know, doing the same things on a routine basis. It's just managing all these different things and all these different personalities and all these complexities, and, you know, just realizing that it gets to a point where you start to notice that you feel like you're taking on too much, and I think it's important that we need to have some time. And this is where the whole self-reflection comes into play, and the self-care, because we spend most of our time looking out for everybody else and doing all these extra things that we barely even make time for ourselves. So self-reflection is very fundamental. It's very important. Now again, to those of you that are watching this video, you may think that I'm rationalizing and making excuses, but my feelings are pretty valid, and this is how I feel. My feelings are very valid. They're not actual facts. These are just my feelings and why I've been the way that I have been. Now, that could pretty much all change at some point given the time and circumstance within this year or the next year. And who knows, maybe I might have a change of heart. But this is how I feel at the moment. And I guess what I'm saying is that I sort of need a break. I need a break from doing all those extra things. I need a break from taking on so much. You know, there's only but so much that a person like me can handle, and I think most of you can relate to that. You know, you take on such a heavy load of different things of doing. You know, you just want to sit down and focus on a few things that you can handle, and looking out for your immediate circle, your close family and your close friends. Everybody can't be in your circle, and that's where the whole idea comes from. So again, I just wanted to make that video, and I wanted to share this story, and I hope you guys had some time to reflect. And I will say this, at the beginning of the year, I had mentioned in my first YouTube video that I was making time to revisit all those other things that I haven't done within the past couple of years. You know me as a guy that likes to sing. You know, I like music, I like video vlogging. You see me do the bike vlogs on my other page, but there's other things that you haven't seen me. One of the things that I haven't done in a long time was drawing. That's another one of the pastimes that I like doing, was drawing pictures and doing some artwork. And so these were a couple of sketches that I composed. So as I said before, we live in these unprecedented times, and make no mistake, we are a step closer from beating the pandemic, but in the meantime, we still have to be socially distanced. We still have to wear a mask. This coronavirus pandemic has hit everybody, and it's touched everyone's lives so hard within this past year that it's forced most of us to revisit all those other things that some of us haven't done in years. You know, we tend to be more focused on our pastime, but there are other things that we haven't done, and these are one of these things. One of these things I like to do is I like to draw sketches. You see these pictures of highways and cars. I used to be into map making too at one point. You see these sketches here? These are all of my drawings. Of course, they don't have any color in it. That's the head of the seagull, obviously, you can see that. But these are just giving you an idea of some of the things that I used to also like to do as well, and I'm trying my hardest to revisit some of these things, if that makes sense. You know, making time for all those extra things like painting, sculpting, and all those things. So that's being done in the works right now. I guess you can say somebody like me is still under development. We're still being molded, and I know it does take some time. And again, I ask that you bear with me as I'm trying to compose myself. I've always been the type of person I kind of sort of like to give a backstory before I can get to the main point of the story. So again, I digress, and I hope you guys had some time to watch this video. But again, this video in particular was a really personal video, and I just felt in my heart and my mind that I wanted to share this. To those of you, or those of my friends that are watching this, you know exactly who I was referring to, and I just hope that you guys had some time to reflect, and you know, let's not be complacent. Let's get through this. I know these times are hard, but never forget all those good times that we had together. And I guess that's where I'll leave this video off. Please be on the lookout for my next video vlog within the next couple of days, and I'll talk to you guys soon.